Hi you guys and welcome back. And I have scary stories to tell you. And if you have not hit subscribe, please subscribe, hit the like button and the notification button too. And thank you so much for supporting us. Alright, so actually I wanted to share with you guys this one scary story that is, for me, it's very creepy because I grew up with it. And I was trying to find research because I really thought that it was like a Cuban folk tale, but I cannot find any traces online that would say that it is. So I think that this is a story that my mom has made up, that made up for me, my family. My mom did that. And yeah, and now as I grow up, that story is disturbing. And it has lots of questions and you ask yourself why. So I'm gonna share it with you guys. If any of you guys have heard it and you know where it came from and you want to share with me, please let me know. All right, so it all starts off with a girl called Monona. Okay, and Monona is around the age of 10 to 11 years old. And her mom tells Monona, hey, look, I'm gonna give you a certain amount of money and I need you to go to the grocery stores and get me some meat so I could cook for dinner. So Monona's like, okay, that's fine. And then her mom is like, make sure that you go straight to the store and right back. Don't go anywhere else and just buy the meat and bring me back the change. And Monona's like, yes, I'll do it. So Monona heads out to the store. As she's getting to the store, she passes the candy shop and she notices that the candy is for sale. And Monona loves candy. She loves candy so much that she forgot, or at least she wanted to ignore, all her mom's rules. So she goes into the candy store and she purchased a bunch of candy, as much as she could with the amount of money that she has. So she grabbed she got the candy, and she walks out of the store. And as she's walking out of the store, she's munching on the candy. As she's eating the candy, she notices that she has no meat. And she needs to give something to her mom. If not, she's gonna be in big trouble with her mom. Okay, so she's trying to figure out what is she gonna do because she doesn't have enough money. The money she has is barely anything. She can't even get herself a soda if she wanted to. That's how little money she had on her. So as she's walking by, she sees a cemetery and she notices that a fresh body just has been put in the dirt. So she gets the idea of getting the meat from there. So she gets the meat from there, puts it in the bag that she had the candy in, because it came in a brown bag. So she put her meat in there and she takes it home to her mom and she's like, here mom, here's the meat and here's your change. And she just goes straight to her room because she didn't want to be questioned about anything. Her mom doesn't notice anything weird about this meat and she cooks it and they eat it for dinner. But Monona obviously did not eat anything because she knew where it came from, and on top of that, she was full of eating all that candy. So Monona and everybody else goes to bed and they're laying down in the bed. It's getting late already and it's I don't know, around 3 o'clock in the morning or so. Monona's sleeping and she starts hearing her name. She kind of starts waking up and all she hears is a creepy voice saying, Monona. And the little girl freaks out and she gets goosebumps all over her body and she just grabs her covers, puts it close to her body, and she's like, listen, mommy, listen. Mommy, can you listen? And then you just hear the voice get louder saying, Monona. And the little girl's just freaking out and she's paralyzed in fear. She's not moving. And then little by little, the voice is getting louder and louder. And Monona lives in a 2-story home. And she's in the 3rd bedroom around there. Okay, so the voice gets louder and goes, Monona, I'm going up the stairs. And the little girl not saying anything because she's now she knows that she is not dreaming this. She's hearing it. And the voice gets louder. Monona, I just passed the first door. There's a little girl starts screaming, "Mommy, mommy, can you listen? Can you listen, mommy?" And the voice is like, "Monona, I'm getting close to your door." And the little girl just says, "Mommy." And then all you hear is, "Monona!" That is the worst. I don't know, people. My mom used to tell me these stories and I was like 5 years old. That was cruel. So for me, that story brings me a lot of nasty, like crazy nightmare memories of mine. So yeah, that story has a lot of questions now that I'm older. Like, why? Why did that little girl decide to go to a cemetery and get the meat from there? And how come nobody saw her grab a shovel? And how did she even grab a shovel? Where did she find the shovel? The shovel was just laying there? I mean, and nobody saw the girl like digging a hole? I mean, really? So that's just me and my thoughts now as as I'm getting older. So that is creepy and disturbing, and yeah. And yes, I have told that story many times to my children as well, because tradition, right? Okay, so that's that story, and I tried my best to translate that. That story was told to me in Spanish. It's usually a Spanish story, because my mom basically spoke Spanish, Cuban descent. So I really thought as I was growing up that was a Cuban like folktale, but I've asked around, I've Googled, nothing under the name of Monona, and that's like a weird name too. So like, where did it come from? I don't know. All right, so that's that story. Second story is it starts off with a teenage girl, and she is home alone, and she's on the phone with her boyfriend. Parents left, she's home alone, it's getting late and she's tired, so she tells her boyfriend, "Hey, I'm gonna go to my room already, I'll call you tomorrow." She ends the phone call. So she goes to her room, she starts to lay down. As she's falling asleep, she hears noises. She does have a dog, so she every time she hears a noise, to get comfort or whenever she's like half asleep, she usually puts her arm down, and her dog is usually under her bed, and then the dog licks her hand, and then she's like, okay, and she goes back to sleep. Same thing happened this night, nothing out of the norm. So she hears a noise, she puts her arm down, fine, she continues to sleep. Again, she hears a weird noise, and she puts her hand down, she feels the dog lick her, she goes to sleep. On the third noise, she hears like a really bad, like strong noise, but this time the noise is coming like from the hallway. So this time she gets up, because now she's like, wait a minute, I'm not dreaming these noises. It's happening. So she grabs the phone immediately. Her first reaction was to call her boyfriend. So she calls her boyfriend and she's like, "Hey, I hear noises in my house. Just stay with me just in case you need to call 911 or something, because I hear something around the house." So she goes with him on the phone and she walks around the house and she inspects everything, and nothing. Everything's fine. So then as she's coming into her room, everything looks good, everything's in place. As she's walking towards her bed, she sees in her mirror of her dresser, she has a big mirror there, and written with lipstick says, "Humans lick too." Something to think about, you guys. That is creepy. I don't know if that's a true story. I know that that story has been circling around the internet. I've also heard it in many different versions of how it goes about, but it always ends pretty much the same way, that it's a human in the household. So that's creepy. That is very creepy and disturbing. So that's that story. And then I always give you 3 stories. So the last story for tonight is about a gentleman. He has a cell phone, and out of nowhere, he starts getting calls around 2 o'clock in the morning, around there, from 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning. He starts getting these phone calls that every time he answers, all he hears is like hellish screams with static, and if he ignores them, they just continue calling back to back to back to back until he answers, and they never leave him a message. So that was weird. When it happened like for a good week or so. After the week, he kind of got fed up about it. So he decided to change the number. He thinks it was a prank or something, or it's on a marketer, whatever. He changes his number. The first 2 to 3 weeks, nothing, everything calmed down, no more phone calls. So he's like, great, you know, whoever had my number is not bothering me anymore. So, you know, time passed, and then the phone calls, you guessed it, started again. Same hellish screams and static. So this time he decides to dial back the number and see who answers. So he did, and it was a gentleman. And he's like, hey, you know, have you been calling me? The other guy on the phone, he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. No. So he was like completely clueless. So obviously it wasn't him. He didn't get nowhere, so he didn't find out anything. So he let it be. He decided to change the number again. So this is the second time he changes the number. Same thing happens. The first couple of weeks, nothing, everything is calm. So until the phone calls continue again. This time he's kind of freaked out. It keeps on following him. So he decides to change the number, but also change the carrier. So now he has a different company for his cell phone with a different number. One thing led to another, the phone calls continued. He is now like seriously feeling like, what is going on? You know? And then bad luck followed him. He lost his job. And on top of that, he lost a cell phone. So because he lost his job, he couldn't replace the cell phone. So he was like 2 to 3 months without a cell phone because it took him a really long time to find a job to begin with. So he was living now with his mother. And then one day, his mom on his landline, she had her cell phone, but on the landline gets a phone call. And yes, you guessed it. Horror, screams, hellish, with static, craziness. So much that she freaked out, and she's like, listen, and she shared it with everybody in the household, and he was there and he listened to it. It followed him. But the good news is that that was the last time he ever got that call. Never again did it call. He tried to call it back to see where it came from, and that's it. The number was disconnected at that time. Immediately after he heard it, he hung up the call, dialed it back, and they said that the number was disconnected, and that's it. It was weird. So was it a ghost? Was it demonic? What was he cursed? I don't know. And what made it break? Was it the time frame that he wasn't no longer using a cell phone? I don't know. So I hope you guys enjoyed the stories. Please, once again, thank you so much for supporting the channel and for hitting the like button and subscribing. And until next time, see ya.